Hello all and welcome, and I am the mgtowphilosopher. And I gotta tell you, I'm very happy. I'm a very happy man. Because while I was searching the internet looking at crazy stuff about women, feminists, and your general female craziness, I came across this article about an Egyptian woman put in jail for 3 years because she was telling women how to sperm jack guys. That's right. I'd either sperm jack them or just, marry them and then immediately divorce them. And you've got your kid and you've got everything you need financially. So essentially, she was teaching women how to defraud men by pretending to care about them just so they could have a kid and have a man take care of it. Now, the reason she got put in jail was because it was Egypt, a country where you have actual, real patriarchy. And I think this is part of the reason why. It's part of the reason, other than the other reason, that, of course, feminists who are leftists are aligned with the Islamic countries to destroy America, because they both have the same goal as cultural Marxists, which is to destroy Western civilization. So that goal is preeminent. So they can put aside any differences they might have. And the other one is that Islamic countries are actual real patriarchies. And if we focused more of a microscopic view, if we put a microscope onto those countries and looked more closely at them and showed more attention and analyzed them more, because of the horrible mistreatment of women in those countries, in some cases anyway, then we would see what a real patriarchy actually looks like. And people would say, oh, wait a second. Well, we don't have anything like that in America. So what are these feminists talking about? So that's the other reason, besides the fact that they're allies in the fight to destroy traditional Western civilization, is that they don't want people to be looking at countries that have real, actual patriarchies, because then that will shine a light on the scam, the BS that is the narrative of patriarchy in Western countries where it just doesn't exist and never has. So let's get to the story, shall we? And we have this attractive woman, and I don't think anybody would argue that she isn't attractive. Of course, it's clear that she's had a nose job and plastic surgery and such, and she's wearing a lot of makeup. But in that picture, that's an attractive woman. Now, you would think, oh, yeah, geez, well, why didn't you get away with it? Well, she would have in the West, where you have an actual patriarchy. Oh, no. So, extramarital sex chat lands Egyptian TV host with 3-year jail term. And I guess she's gotten away with almost everything she's done before, even if it's been stuff against the law, which you'll see is the case later on in this very short article, I might add. This story was not covered much of it all by the Western media. It was very hard to find for me. And I think that's obviously because the Western media doesn't want you to see an example of an actual patriarchy. Extramarital sex chat lands Egyptian TV host in jail for 3 years. And I bet you she serves most of it too. No time off for good behavior for you. An Egyptian court has sentenced a popular TV host to jail for 3 years for discussing ways women can get pregnant if they are not married. If only we had something similar in the West. A top of the government feels outrages public decency. Yeah, it does. You see, and it used to outrage public decency in the West as well. Oh, but not anymore. Now it's the norm and it's totally acceptable. Dua. It sounds like that song, Dua. Even her name is stupid. Dua Salah asked viewers on her Al Nahar TV show with Dadi, oh my God, if they had considered having sex before marriage. She then suggested, as she stands there pregnant and has probably done the exact same thing herself, is the advice that she's going to give, that women who wanted kids but didn't necessarily want to be married, you're catching that, right? Sounds like feminism to me. Yeah, they got to put a kibosh on that. Could marry briefly, then once pregnant, get a divorce. Oh, big mistake, Dua. You simply need to have the money and then separate. Of course, they translated it wrong. It should not be have, it should be get. You simply need to get the money and then separate. They mistranslated it purposely. She said, reports Al Arabiya. Salah made the comments during an episode entitled Single Mother. What? So now you have women in the Middle East trying to destroy the Middle East as well. Boy, they just can't stop, can they? They will not quit until they've destroyed the whole world. Yes, let us endorse single motherhood. Yeah, good idea. We don't have enough of it in the West. In July, while sporting a fake baby... Oh, I see. She wasn't really pregnant. She was just pretending to be. As a gimmick. Oh, real clever, honey. The show was then suspended for 3 months. That's what a patriarchy looks like, ladies. You say the wrong thing on TV as a woman or a man. If it's against men, your show goes bye-bye. This is so funny. I love it. Looking at this chick right now and knowing that she got her show suspended and now she's going to spend 3 years in jail for trying to destroy Islamic civilization like women have destroyed Western civilization. Salah also suggested paying a potential husband for his services and pointed to the fact that sperm donation is an accepted form of insemination in Western countries, though not in her homeland. I can't stop laughing. All this stuff, this sperm donation crap, big mistake in the West. That was just something pushed by feminists so that women could have babies without husbands. And now she's trying to push it in an Islamic country as well. Clearly, this broad has been spending too much time on what limited internet access she has. The article goes on to say, at her trial in Cairo on Tuesday, Salah was found guilty of inciting debauchery. I say that Islamic countries are backwards and they need some kind of reformation just like the Catholic Church had. But they don't get it wrong in this area. This is debauchery of its worst form. In its worst form. Now, this might sound extreme, but if our own Western countries had went to this extent and taken these kind of measures, we wouldn't have the world being destroyed. Now, of course, I know it goes against freedom of speech and such, but really, things would not have gotten to this point in America because if you go back 50, 60 years, nobody would have said anything like this in America. Nobody. Same thing would have happened. Their show would have been canceled. People would have taken measures. Now, of course, throwing them in jail, no. But you'd cancel the show and such. Now, this, I don't know about 3 years in jail. That I don't necessarily, well, I'm not going to say I don't necessarily agree with it. No, that's wrong, of course. Of course, that's wrong. But, it's fitting that they canceled her show. And it's fitting that they're standing up for their traditional beliefs. That's why they are flourishing and we are being destroyed by them. They are winning and we are losing. And the reason for that is they don't apologize for their cultures. They embrace them. We apologize all the time, even though we have the greatest culture in the world, in America and other Western countries. Not all of them, of course. Sweden is excused, as is Canada, who elected that Trudeau. Guy looks like he ought to be on a surfboard, not running a country. He's got a subpar IQ. What's he doing running a country? Yeah, the feminists elected him because it was this feel-good baby that essentially said everything they wanted to hear. Male feminist. Classic example of somebody suffering from a soft feminist Stockholm syndrome. So at her trial in Cairo, she was found guilty of inciting debauchery. Yeah, and if I had been in the gallery that day, I would have been waving a fist, baby. I wouldn't have cheered, of course, because that would have been, uncivil of me. But anyway, with authorities saying that Salah's suggestions threatened the very fabric of Egyptian life. That's interesting, isn't it? How they stand up for their culture and beliefs to the point where they'll toss somebody in jail who threatens them. You see, I think sometimes in the West we're a little too tolerant. See, I don't think tolerance should be necessarily an open-ended thing where you have 100% tolerance 100% of the time for everything. I don't think that's necessarily a good idea. Goes on to say the presenter was sentenced to 3 years in prison and ordered to pay a fine of 10,000 Egyptian pounds, $66, so pocket change. But the 3 years in prison, that's what patriarchy looks like, ladies, to the lawyer who brought the case against her. Salah twice before escaped prison sentences for discussing controversial topics on her show. Third strike, baby. So twice before she got out of it. And you want to know why? That's why. She's a hot, small, tiny, demure, little chick that men feel obligated to protect and seek validation and approval from. But the third strike, they said, yeah, you're pretty hot and we'd like to bang you, honey, but we can't let you off the hook. You went too far this time. But of course, she wouldn't even have gotten to the point where she hit a third strike by suggesting something this controversial and really this illegal, so wrong in her country that'll get you put in jail if she hadn't been let off the hook twice before to begin with. And this is what I'm always talking about. Women, male judges, men, the system lets them off the hook until they do something really, really serious. And then by then, well, yeah, they're going to go to jail by then. But it wouldn't have gotten to that point if the system hadn't ignored them prior to that simply because they were women. So I have a message to you dumb feminists out there who for some reason think that 1.5 billion people are oppressed because there's not a lot of them. What? This is so amazing to me. I don't understand how Muslims are an oppressed minority. Oh, because there's a few of this that says there are a small number of them in America. Oh, so in America, they're an oppressed minority. What about back in their home countries? We ignore that totally. But Muslims are participants in the oppression Olympics, of course, and they're oppressed. They're an oppressed class because there's just not enough of them in America. No, we need to bring more in. Well, people, this is what, feminists, I want you to listen. This is what patriarchy looks like, okay? That's what patriarchy looks like. That's why your feminist leaders and all these feminist organizations and the leftist media and all those dopey politicians and all these useful idiots on the left ignore the home countries of these supposedly oppressed minorities in America because they don't want you to know the truth. That there never has been a patriarchy in the West. And the only way you can continue to perpetuate that lie, that false narrative, is to not let people see what a real patriarchy looks like. And real patriarchies exist in these people's home countries. And the moment that you saw what a real patriarchy looked like, your brainwashing would start to deteriorate. Because that's the only way to break this programming is to see the reality of what something is. No amount of facts or figures will do it. So you dummy male feminists and you dummy female feminists, there is no patriarchy in the West. You want to see what a real patriarchy looks like? Check out this story. Check out the laws. Check out the systems and how they treat women in Islamic countries. And then you come back and how they favor men. This, you know why she got put in jail? Because she threatened men. Yeah, just marry a guy and take all his money. Yeah, just do that. What do you think's going to happen? Well, in America, of course, they'll actually help you to do it because America's a totally cucked country. But in Saudi Arabia and Egypt and countries like that, you're going to jail. You're going to jail because those are real patriarchies and the men actually have benefits as opposed to the non-existent benefits, these nebulous benefits I keep hearing about, how men are somehow privileged in the West. I have yet to see any of these privileges. Meanwhile, countries like Egypt are sending chicks to jail for suggesting that you sperm jack guys and get them to pay for your babies. That's a patriarchy, you idiots. So let me know what you think in the comment section of this video. Like and subscribe, and if you feel so inclined, donate to my Patreon. You'll find a link in the description or a button on the last 20 minutes of this video on the screen. That's all I have to say on this subject. I am the MGTOW philosopher, and I wish you a good day. Take care.